Peace and blessings, beautiful people. It's your girl, Dr. Joy Leani Hallman of the Joy of Life TV. And today we're going to be talking about grief during the holidays. And we're going to talk about 4 very real things that we can do to assist us in feeling better, right? And it's always suggested that we feel our feelings, right? And so when we talk about grief can be from the loss of a job. It can be the loss of a loved one. It can be because you move somewhere new and you're lonely. It could be because someone in your family has passed on. The grief that we're going to be talking about today is going to be from the latter, someone that you loved or that you love that has since passed on, right? And just 4 tips about what we can do. So first of all, grief comes in 5 stages, right? And so we start in with denial, right? What is kind of like you're in shock. That can't be. I just talked to him, or I was just with her. I can't believe it, right? How is my life going to be now? What am I going to do? This person was my world. So we go through that stage, right? And then we can ebb and flow through the other stages, which includes anger, right? And so with anger, I want you to understand that anger is very healthy. It's a very necessary stage of the healing process, right? And so when we're angry, we can be angry at the doctor who gave us the news. We could be angry at loved ones. We could be angry at the person who passed on. We can be angry at God, right? It's kind of like, why is this happening right now? What is this, right? It's a very useful tool. Anger is a very useful tool. It's very helpful. It can act as a strength. It can help you to anchor, believe it or not, right? And you will move through that. The next stage I want to talk to you about is what we consider bargaining, right? And so we could essentially say, you know what? I'll eat all my peas if I don't have to endure this. God, if you just allow her to live just 2 more years, I'm going to act right. I'm going to get back on the right track, or whatever it is that we're telling ourselves. We want to bargain our way through it just so that we don't have to experience this tragedy, right? And then there's depression. And so with depression, and I know when we say that word, especially a lot of people who have jobs, and also it's cultural. I'm African American, and in my culture, we look at depression like, who has time for that? Like there's no such thing almost, and we kind of move through it. But depression is very real, and I don't mean in this way. I don't mean so much clinically. I just mean that it's a really super strong state of a deep, ingrained sadness, the pulling yourself up by the bootstrap, the what do I do now? Now I have to change the ways that I'm looking at things. We have friends and loved ones who will try to comfort us, and sometimes that makes it worse. Oops. Example, I had friends say, I had someone who loves me very much say, when my grandmother's passed, well, at least you had them all this time. And the flip side of that for me was, yeah, I've had them all this time, meaning I've never been on a planet without my grandmothers ever. So my positionality has completely switched, everything has changed. So there are parts of us that may want to go back and forth with those people, but we don't need to do that. Those people were just trying to be helpful. But I'm just letting you know, sometimes you're wanting to say things and you're believing that it's comforting people, and it's not. The best thing you could do is listen. So the very last stage of grief would be what we consider and what we call acceptance, right? And I don't want us to think about acceptance like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm cool. Well, my grandma died and stuff. No, never that. I'm never going to be okay about it, okay? But I am okay with the fact that I get that my grandmothers are not here with their physicality anymore, that they've moved on. I still believe they localized to me, but those are my religious beliefs. But with acceptance, you become okay with the fact that this is what occurred and this is what my life looks like now. Not so much that, oh, I'm happy he died, or I'm happy she died. It doesn't mean that. I have a lot of clients that think that that's what acceptance means. That is not what acceptance means. Acceptance means that I've arrived at the place in my life where I have recognized that I have a new normal, and I'm adapting to it. And it's always an adaptation. It's always a becoming, right? So 4 things that we can do. first and foremost, we can allow ourselves to feel our feelings, right? So during the holidays, some of us are like, I want to keep busy. I don't want to think about it. Relax. You feel sad. It's just okay. Give yourself a minute. And when that minute is up, you need to refocus, right? So I don't care if you say, I'm going to cry for 15 minutes, or I'm going to cry for 20 minutes, or, you need to have a timestamp on it. But it's okay to allow yourself to feel your feelings. Maybe you want to play, maybe when that Christmas song comes on, it makes you think of them good. Because my second step is to pick at least 3 memories, 3 awesome experiences that you've had with that person, and relish in them. I don't care if you write them down, if you journal about it. The best thing, one of the best things you can do with that is to share that. You can even ingrain that in the new holiday tradition, right? So we're going to talk about Grandpa. Let me tell you, one time I was with my grandfather and he fill in the blanks, or whatever it is, because that will help you get through it, and it keeps the essence of that energy alive and intact, right? The third thing I'm going to say is to keep it simple. Do not take on so much. It's a trap. Run, right? So if you would normally attend a traditional event with that person that's since passed, maybe you can't do that this year, and that's okay. Or maybe you're definitely wanting to go, but don't do it alone, right? So you can bring along someone else. If your dad passed, bring your kids with you when you go, because those are going to be your anchors, your rocks, the ones that hold you up, right? But don't take on too much, so you can show up for other people and you can do all those things, but remember, just try not to do so much. And then the very last thing that I'm going to talk about is, for me, you want to commemorate, right? So it doesn't matter if maybe you're hosting the holiday, and so you have your loved one's picture up, right? Or maybe you go into prayer. You spend some time, just you and your supreme being, and you're in prayer, either for that person or with that person. Whatever it is, you can create your own holiday tradition of how you now have chosen to weave this person in, weave this energy in, because energy is created. It's never destroyed. It's simply transferred from one dimension into the next. And what I'd like to share is, you don't have to think about the loss like a loss, like they're gone forever. You can think about all of these wonderful memories that you've had with this person, and in that way they live on. And when you share them during the holiday with other loved ones, in that way it helps their legacy to stay alive. So I'm Dr. Joy Leonie Hallman of the Joy of Life TV, and I really hope that these 4 tips to help you through grief during the holiday assist you. Have a beautiful, wonderful, and amazing holiday season. Peace and blessings.